Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP, and joining me live in the studio, my co-host and good friend, M3. Please, everyone, do us a favor. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to also share this broadcast. And the platform is screwing around with the numbers again. So if you guys wouldn't mind giving me updates on the number of likes and number of viewers throughout the show, I would certainly appreciate it. We've got quite the show lined up for you today, guys. Lots of posts, plenty of news, and a special announcement. We've got a question from verified user we're going to be answering when we get back, but for right now, guys, I need you to sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Franklin's Finest Coffee is the first ever emergency survival coffee with an actual up to 25-year shelf life. The kit provides a 1-year supply of flavorful Franklin's Finest coffee for one person. It's conveniently packaged in 12 resealable, 60-serving, heavy-duty 4-layer zipper pouches for a total of 720 servings. It's all packaged in a rugged, water-resistant bucket for easy storage, and Franklin's Finest Coffee is the ultimate survival perk, especially for those that drink coffee on a daily basis. Or you can take it camping. It's 100% Colombian, and it's also the perfect item for barter or trade in an emergency. You'll thank us later for that tip. As Benjamin Franklin said, among the numerous luxuries on the table, coffee may be considered as one of the most valuable. It excites cheerfulness without intoxication, and the pleasing flow of spirits which it occasions is never followed by sadness, languor, or debility. All right, folks, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. Methods, how are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good today. How are you?
Good, good. Somebody said echo, wow. Was there an echo during that commercial? Anybody? You didn't have the volume
I couldn't
up.
hear it. So.
All right. If there was an echo, just let me know, and then I'll know that I need to adjust something. Verified user, first of all, asked, why do the drop numbers keep changing colors? And the only thing that I can imagine you're referring to, verified user, is the ID number on each of these posts. Like, let's say you're looking at the cag.news, qag.g.news. No echo. Great. Awesome. Then what you're seeing there, let's just go ahead and just take a look at it real quick. You can see that each post has an ID number associated with it. And every time it changes, that's when the color changes. Now, Methods, do you want to explain to them what the ID is? It's the... yeah, and I think you might have mute on, or maybe you're not there.
No, I'm good now. No, well, I mean, how that works basically on the boards is everybody, or a lot of people should know this, but we'll explain for everybody. The boards go through 751 posts, give or take sometimes, per thread, which we all call bread. And then it gets changed over to a new one, so they're not just going on to infinity. And so when they each change and you change to a new number, a new bread, then you get a different ID. Or if you were to change your IP stuff or sign in on something else, it would be different. Mm-hmm. So as far as that goes, that would change throughout all that. Now, if people are using Tor, to get in there, then your ID is just zeros. So that's why it gets confusing sometimes for people when they see like, why does that person have my same ID or whatever, or why does it say that our favorite Anon is posted 57 times? Well, no, he hasn't posted 57 times. It's just that many people. And also, but as far as the trip code, if that's what they're also referring to, or maybe they are, the trip code for our favorite Anon is set to flash in between red kind of like whitish, like silver and blue. So that's why sometimes you'll see screen caps of the different color version of it, because people are grabbing it at different times.
There you go. That makes sense too. Okay, great. Now, EO2 Dave says, I hope Ratcliffe takes a chainsaw to the ABC agencies. Something tells me that is probably going to happen. We have great news. Representative Ratcliffe has been fully appointed as the new DNI. So acting DNI Grinnell will be stepping down momentarily. I don't know how long that's going to take. I know in between the firing and then the removal of Dan Coates and the installment of acting DNI Grinnell, there was like, I mean, what do we think? It was about a 10-day window in between those?
That's what I was assuming, but since we've been in our pre-show conversations and stuff, they might have announced when he would take over.
Okay.
I just had caught before we got into the conversation. So if anybody in the chat heard when Ratcliffe would actually take over the position, if it has been out there, please tag us in the chat and let us know, because we are interested to see when he would take over. But in turn, a cool point is that, you know how Johnson and Grassley had written a letter wanting more of the unmasking information to come out. I think that we announced that letter was written to Grinnell. So to me, it's like, how much, not quote unquote damage is he about to do on the way out the door? Because he could just, our favorite Anon points to acting a lot. What's the best part about these actors and stuff? They could do things and then move on, and then the next person can handle the next wave of information. They can't really be blamed in the public forum as much. But yeah, Ratcliffe, to me, once it was announced that Trump was even considering him, it just clicked in my head. I was like, that makes so much sense.
Oh yeah,
for Ratcliffe to do that job. So I'm all for it. I know we all love Grinnell. He's been awesome. I hope that there was already a position in mind for him.
I think there probably would be.
Right. And to me, I've kind of been considering Ray more as like a placeholder during all this. If you notice that, now let's just go ahead and take it to where, trust Ray or whatever. Then to me, he's been there as that placeholder for somebody else to come through. And Grinnell just earned a lot of trust from people, that support this president. So to have him then move, that would help, fix the image of the FBI, especially during all this information and stuff that's coming out about how bad they've been for years.
Yeah, and the information just continues to keep coming. We saw a very disturbing article earlier. Whitehead was that Whitehead that shared it? Or was that you, Methods? The article about the FBI in Arizona. About the FBI in Arizona, there was that was. You still there?
Yeah, it was Whitehead that sent it over.
Okay. Yeah, so it was the Arizona FBI, and they were involved in the takedown of a trafficking organization. And then the charges had to be dropped because too many of the agents engaged in coitus with the women that were being held as part of this operation. So when they were supposed to be freeing them, they were essentially victimizing them to a greater degree. And then on top of that, everybody that was involved got away with what they had been doing. Now, the reason I bring it up is because we were just talking about the FBI in Arizona yesterday with that proclamation stating that people in this movement were part of a dangerous domestic organization. And it just goes to show that the law enforcement in Arizona is about as corrupt as it gets. I mean, once again, that's the seat of the Democratic mafia. What do they call it? I can't, the New Mexico Mafia or something like that. I mean, I can't remember what it is exactly, but Janet Napolitano was part of it.
You mean the Arizona Mafia?
That's what it was, Arizona. Why couldn't I remember that? Arizona Mafia. Yes, the Arizona Mafia. So people like Janet Napolitano, former members of the last administration, working in concert with the cartels from south of the border, and then the Democrats north of the border. Major flows of money and corruption taking place in the Southwest. So I think that this just goes to show that the FBI in that part of the world cannot be trusted. And I'm hoping that that's something that specifically is going to get cleaned up in the coming months. Now, to your point, Grinnell as FBI director would be absolutely perfect. Okay. You know, I've always held, judgment out for Christopher Wray. I think that you're right, though. I've always thought of him as a placeholder, as somebody who was essentially just there. And if you think about his history, if you think about the way he's behaved, like outwardly, I think that he's just another one of those appointments that was made so that we could have, the deep state essentially feel safe in whatever it is that they wanted to do. I mean, they look at Wray, they don't see any major changes happening. They don't see any major revelations, and they feel that they are going to be able to continue to get away with their crimes essentially forever. So Tom Terrific makes an excellent point. He is still the ambassador to Germany. So that acting DNI was a simultaneous position. I would be perfectly okay if President Trump gave him an upgrade and put him in at the FBI, and then we could easily get somebody else into the ambassadorship in Germany. But basically, guys, the posts that we've gotten in the last 24 hours have just been dynamite, absolute dynamite. So many big booms, and the stuff that is being hinted at, the stuff that is being foretold, is going to be major revelations. And I truly believe that what we're going to see is the complete exposure of everything that we have been working to expose over this entire time. I mean, we talk about Operation Mockingbird. We got a post about that today. We know that the deep state, that the clowns in America, they have people everywhere. I believe that that is going to be absolutely, completely torn down. And I immediately, when I started seeing these posts about the clowns in America just so overtly, it took me back, Methods, to when President Trump came into office and he went to speak at Langley to the clowns in America. And he said, I'm going to build you a new house with no columns. Okay? And he said, do you know what I mean? And I think there were some people who definitely knew what he meant, but there were some people that, probably just thought he was being an idiot. But the idea of the fifth column. The fifth column is a secret, covert portion of the government or an organization that is working to destroy it from within. So by President Trump saying that he's going to build them a new house without columns means that he's going to work to remove those elements of the fifth column from the government. And in the same way that JFK said he was going to tear it down and rebuild it, that's exactly what President Trump is doing. Do you remember that, Methods? You're on mute.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely remember it. And it's going to have to. No, I'm on. I think I'm having connection issues at the moment. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. And I think you're right because you're just a little bit slow. So I'm sorry for my haste. I will take note of that.
No, it's fine. I'm going to jump out and jump back in and just see if that helps it.
Okay, that works. Let's see. While you're doing that, I know that I got a couple of people to say thank you to. Navy Vet says, have you or M3 ever seen the article Keanu Reeves did on the world leaving the Matrix? He speaks of everything 17 does. I have not seen that. And if somebody could go ahead and send that to me, I would find that very interesting. I'd like to check that out. Meadow Dancer Wow says, Trump exits USA from Open Skies Treaty. I don't know what the Open Skies Treaty is, but that's another one I would love to learn about. If you guys want to email that to me, I would appreciate it. Let's see. Then The Greatest American Revolution says, Trump's outside everyone who he feels is corrupt. Why not Wray? Hashtag placeholder for sure. That's exactly it. I think that Wray is meant to just stay there, play this role, and when it's time for Wray to leave, he will. Oh, and we've got Methods back. Let's see if this works any better. Mark Ellsworth says, 2018 Arizona election, I helped count mail-in votes. They let D's change party to R's. You had one D plus one fake R count and correct votes. Cinema fraud win. Mark, so you were actually physically present, you watch this happen. I mean, when we were watching it from outside, watching the coverage and how cinema all of a sudden had all these votes out of nowhere, I think everybody knew what was happening, but that's incredible to think that you were actually there. If you could email me and put Arizona fraud in the subject line, man, I would so appreciate it. redpill78@protonmail.com. Methods, you're back, buddy. How's it working?
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Mic check. Okay, there might be the issue that we had before on the pre-show when it says that your bandwidth is low, which we know isn't the case, but I'm having that connection issue. So if I'm behind, I don't know how it sounds to everybody out there.
I'll just make sure to pause when I'm asking your opinion and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine, because I'm responding right after you say something when I hear it, but then you kind of delay before you talk. So.
Ugh. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening now, too. Well, let me just say what up to Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel. Good to see you out there, buddy. And then also let me say thank you to 412 Anon for hanging out with us. I appreciate that. And, of course, all the mods, thank you for being here. Also, Real Red Pill Girlfriend, thank you very much, honey, for helping out. I love you so much. And Jacinda Smith says, did you see the Black Pope died yesterday? So that's Ratzinger? Was that Ratzinger? Or... I mean, I don't know who that would be. Let me see. Death of Pope. Let me pull that up. But while I'm getting that pulled up, I need to just draw attention to the first post that we wanted to discuss. And that was the one that came out after the show yesterday in relation to Joe Scarborough. Now, it's quite timely for that post to have made it out because, of course, President Trump once again drew attention to the case of Lori Klausutis and Joe Scarborough's potential involvement in that. Now, the post includes this meme, and it says, "The shocking truth you will not see on MSNBC. Where was Joe Scarborough at the time of the death? A shocking discovery. Juanita and Andreas Bergman had an appointment at 8 a.m. July 20th at the Fort Walton Beach office of Congressman Joe Scarborough. The appointment had been arranged by the congressman's young aide, Lori Klausutis, and Mr. and Mrs. Bergman thought they were going to meet with the congressman to facilitate Mr. Bergman's application for a green card. Instead, they found the body of Lori Klausutis." Now, this is from special report entitled "Never Bound by the Truth" by Chris George and Dennis Wright. And it says the obvious questions that need to be answered. Where was Joe Scarborough when Lori Klausutis suffered her fatal injuries? If he was in Washington, D.C., as has been suggested, why would Lori Klausutis have scheduled an 8 a.m. appointment for him in Fort Walton Beach, Florida? And if he was in Florida and had no prior knowledge of Lori Klausutis' death, why didn't he show up for his 8 a.m. appointment with the Bergmans? Methods, what do you think about this?
Well, I think bringing it up means that there's got to be some evidence going around, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come out, but I'm also very curious on how this might play into what our favorite Anon's been talking about when it comes to clown activity in the media as well. Because we know in like the WikiLeaks dumps about the media working with Hillary Clinton, I know that when they announced that, when that was going on, Mika's name was involved in that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious to see, like, all these different things are kind of just, they're all connecting around the same people. So I think that there is going to be information come out, because you have to think Trump knows him bringing it up, his base is going to go ham with the, these memes and stuff. Obviously it happened. So I think there's got to be something to it, because otherwise it does make Trump look like the ultimate villain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that clearly Joe Scarborough has been protected this entire time. And there must be evidence. President Trump knows something, and he's not just going to go out there and, say something libelous, because he would be opening himself up to a lawsuit. Now, Joe Scarborough hasn't sued President Trump. Mika Brzezinski hasn't sued President Trump. And they can't, because if they do that and they get into court, then evidence can be presented to show Joe Scarborough's guilt in this situation. So very, very interesting, very telling. I do believe that something is going to come out in regards to Joe Scarborough and his culpability in that mysterious death. Now, Okay, so I have that article, and now it's telling me that my internet connection is unstable. I have that article from Navy Vet that he sent over, and okay, so this article, I have seen this before, and I can't verify the legitimacy of it. The original place that it was written, I believe, was like News Punch or the whatever News Punch was before it was News Punch. They have a tendency to write articles that sound really great. They seem like, wow, this person is coming out with major information, but there's no direct source. You can't source any of this stuff. This is just somebody who's claiming that Keanu Reeves said these things while filming. They don't mention the film. They don't talk, about exactly where it was or under what conditions. And then they also bring in other people. Now, this has happened a number of times with this original organization. Let me go to the original source right here, and it's Your Newswire. You guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe anything that Your Newswire puts out or that News Punch puts out. What they'll do is they will take real stories and they'll punch them up with information that can't be verified. So anytime you see something on this website, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably got an element of fake news in it. But methods, I mean, you know the website, right?
I feel the same way. Right, I feel the same way about like Neon Nettle. They kind of do the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Okay. Man, I am having a little bit of connectivity issues on my end. Okay. I don't know why, though. The feed is good. I'm not dropping any frames. Everything else looks good. I've still got my gigabit connection. Well, let me just say, Haterproof said people involved with LDS, New Mexico, Utah, Arkansas. Are you saying that has something to do with Lori Klausutis? Navy Vet says, RP, I just shared the article. Thank you, I got that. Trump Be Cool says, not all law enforcement is corrupt here in Arizona. My sheriff of Pinal County is great. He would not arrest anyone for violation of state order. It's how I was able to run my business the whole time. And I certainly don't want anyone to say that I am besmirching the character of all law enforcement officials in the state of Arizona. There are undoubtedly good people that are law officers in Arizona and across the whole country. The problem is that there are so many instances of corruption that then get covered up by others in these departments. These people don't pay for their crimes, and then they can continue to do whatever they want. But it certainly is not everyone that's in law enforcement. And Haterproof says, any relation to Alan Scarborough from Parsonburg? I don't know. I don't know where Parsonburg is. Law Dog says, plaid is my favorite color too. Goes well with my bell bottoms. Hope this gets you in methods some bandwidth. Thank you, Law Dog. Yeah, plaid is obviously my favorite color too, guys. I love it. All right. Well, methods, you want to tell them about post 4298 with that letter from Grassley?
Yeah, I could do that. Basically, that letter, and I'm pulling it up now because I want to get the specifics correctly, but it's what I was referring to as far as the letter from Grassley and Johnson to Grinnell requesting more information, because you see how this plays out. They bring up some of the things about all these people trying to unmask Flynn, and nefarious. It just looks nefarious, just even on its face. So they're requesting even more information when it comes to unmasking. So they are asking for a very long period of time. They want basically anybody, all information regarding the quote unquote unmasking of U.S. persons affiliated with the Trump campaign requested by members of President Obama's administration from January 2016, which is a pivotal point because they didn't start their investigation until July, right? Mm-hmm. January 2016 through January 2017. If this request needs to be responded to in tranches, we would appreciate receiving unmasking information related to the period of April through June 2016. So once we had heard before, what Durham is going before the investigation allegedly started in July when they're announcing all that stuff, he's looking at what happened before that. Well, now we're at the point to where they're requesting this information so it then can be made public.
Mm-hmm.
So what was Obama and his administration and people under him during that entire year, election year, doing?
Yeah, they were absolutely running these secret investigations and attempting to subvert the administration of President Trump before he even got started. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that. And then it says, ask and ye shall receive. Now, post 4299 is where we begin our direct hits on the clowns in America. It includes another post. And the text is, normally intelligence passed on from a member of the Five Eyes Alliance, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, and the US, to another member comes through an official channel for intelligence sharing. However, Nunes, upon reviewing the document that formally launched the FBI's investigation, said there was no intelligence shared through that official channel, meaning that the intelligence was shared through unofficial means. And then our favorite Anon continues in the post, important to note, for future events, masking versus unmasking, incidentally intercepted versus direct target, 702 collection, minimization procedures versus Clowns in America versus Five Eyes. How does the Clowns in America collect intelligence? And then we have a link to a document. Hold on just a sec. I don't know where it went. Okay, that's not it. I don't know where it went. I got too many links open. Okay, so it's an archive from the Federal Register showing executive orders. And those would be what the president did, and I'm sure that's in relation to the Clowns in America, because it continues, Clowns in America not governed by FISA. Intelligence operations are conducted outside of the United States. Target collection, FBI is the one that's under FISA. That's the Foreign Counterintelligence Mission, is principally domestic. So FBI operates here in America. Clowns in America is supposed to operate outside of America only. Target collection, U.S. or abroad, and it depends on if people are traveling. Foreign intelligence collection of U.S. persons, official versus unofficial. What central ABC agency played quarterback? So from my gathering of this post, it sounds like the intercept of Flynn's communications, because it wasn't done with FISA, because it wasn't done officially by the Clowns in America, it was Five Eyes countries that were listening to Flynn and then passing that information off to the Clowns in America, which were then handing it over to the FBI. Methods, what do you gather from this post?
I think you're on point with it, but I want to just say real quick, because of this delay thing, to kind of just help you out. When I finish what I'm saying, it's about 5 or 10 seconds when you're responding after the fact. So just giving you a heads up on that. So I'll just give full thought and then hand it back to you. Basically from that post, and I know I tweeted it out yesterday and even retweeted it this morning, because the final thing is what central ABC agency played quarterback, and C's in the kill box. Well, we found a clip of Rudy Giuliani back in 2018 pointing out the fact that Brennan was the quarterback of all this stuff. So what you have here is you've got the FBI was doing their unmasking stuff and looking at everything they could on Flynn here in the U.S. So we have that come out. And then now you've got information that's going to come out that has to do with Brennan working with foreign, things like Five Eyes or whatever, to gather the information in the other direction. So having it from both sides explains that what was going on, because it's got to make the case that the whole thing was entirely fraudulent and was spying, and it was trying to subvert the election, trying to overturn the election. And so that's how it's going to get explained down the road, and these documents are going to prove that.
Absolutely. And I just messaged you, but I will wait for you to do the hard handoff, and I will do the hard handoff as well. Campanon7 says, I got my news from RP78 and the Babylon Bee, LOL. So comedy and serious news. Haterproof says, do you play Star Wars Commander M3? LOL. Methods, I don't think you play Star Wars Commander, do you?
No, I definitely don't.
No. All right. Well, the next post is an article from The Federalist, and it is entitled How the Obama Administration Weaponized Surveillance Laws to Target Trump. And it goes through exactly what happened and how they did it. And it talks specifically about recently made reports, the newly declassified information. And it is a thorough undertaking of how they did the spying and how they weaponized essentially the U.S. government and the tools at their disposal to go after General Flynn and President Trump. Now, the next post, it says, worth remembering who was the quarterback, going back to Method's clip that he found and put out yesterday. And it's an article from 2014. Inquiry by the Clowns in America affirms that it spied on the Senate panel. So in my mind, this is showing, just another instance of how the Clowns in America were spying on American people, on American soil, clearly outside of their mandate, outside of their charter. And it states unequivocally that the one playing quarterback was the Clowns in America, just as Rudy had asserted previously. Methods?
Oh, I totally agree with it. And I remember looking at clips when I was going down that rabbit hole, finding things that they've said in the past about how they were doing that spying and all that. And like you said, it proves that they have no problem doing it. They've done it before. They've used it. So how many times have they used it? Has it always been okay for them to do it all the time? And a lot of us assume that they were always doing it. To certain times it gets caught up in the political and public crosshairs. So that's going on. But real quick, before I hand it back over, we've got over 4,600 people hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. And we've got 1.7 thousand likes. If you guys don't mind turning the thumb blue. I want to thank everybody too in the chat for giving us updates like you had asked for, Red Pill, at the start of the show. You guys are really, really great. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for hitting us up in the PayPal, the computer fund I'm working on. I really, really appreciate it. And also remember, at the end of the show, we're going to have a discussion about the fate of this show, Quarantime, and the future of what we're going to do. So make sure you hang out for that, because we want to let you guys know.
Yeah, thanks, Methods, for sure. And then also for myself, thanks for the audience. I need to say thank you to Hunter. He said, get 'em red. Your intelligence, fairness, and patience with your audience makes you a sentinel to this movement and a hero to the world. Cheers, bro. Big Mike loves RP. Not in that way, though. So thank you very much, Hunter. And then also Ernest said for Chi-Chi's vet bill, praying for his quick recovery. Thank you so much, Ernest. Then Mark Rosenberg says just a little something to help with Chi-Chi's vet bill. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. And then also Terry Schneeberger. Thank you very much, Terry. Then Melted Marbles also. And Hunter, thank you so much, Hunter. I appreciate you. Kim Jones, Patricia Eggleston, Linda Graham. This is all from yesterday, too. So I just wanted to make sure I got everybody's in. If I missed your message, you guys, I do apologize. Sometimes they don't give me all of them. So also, the Kegel says, loving the shows and ordering popcorn by the pallet. That's a wise investment. I think that popcorn stock is a great thing to buy into right now. Red Pills Warhawk says, much love, my brothers. Love you, too. Also, you guys, Red Pills Warhawk was putting together a special. He said that anybody who donates up to a certain amount to the show will get that much of a discount on a custom tomahawk. So please make sure that you guys get a hold of Red Pills Warhawk. He's done some incredible work. He's an artist as far as I'm concerned. And then Brent J. Thank you very much, Brent J. And Allison Lenberg says, thank you for all you do to keep us informed. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody. So now the next post, 4302, it is a document directly from the Clowns in America's library, and it says expand your thinking. Now, it is a report from 2006, but it's actually a Newsweek article from 1986, and it says reporters and the Clowns in America. They keep in touch, but at arm's length. So this is talking about the direct relationship between the clowns and the mainstream media as far back as 1986. But in the next post, it's another article from the Clowns in America library, and it says logical thinking. Clowns in America coming back into the news soon. Now, this one is just a tad bit more overt than the Newsweek article. It's called Clowns' Use of Journalists and Clergy in Intelligence Operations. Methods. Did you have a chance to read through this? It's actually a briefing before the Select Committee on Intelligence, and it's from 1996, so 10 years later.
Right. No, I haven't had a chance to go through it and just really dissect it, but I mean, I get the overall concept about it, because if you control the public's opinion and the public narrative, then you can control a lot of things. You can also get away with a lot. So to me, another thing that we always talk about, to kind of just segue out a second, a lot of things that I talk with people is, how are the media going to be held accountable? And I'm not saying that I have all the answer. We have all the answers on how this is going to play out. But so far, I feel like we are kind of on the right path about how we said, well, you got to expose and go the FBI route, and then you're going to go into the clowns and foreign stuff and all that. But so as we get the clowns in the conversation, which they need to be, the best way that they can, kind of two-bird the situation and go after the media is to expose the connections of how the media has been, the talking heads for clowns to help cover their operations and do other things. So to me, the fact that our favorite Anon is having all eyes look at this on how the clowns have been embedded in the media, and how many of them are also trying to get into things like politics and, run for Congress and do all that stuff. That can help expose things, a big deal. So I'm really, really glad we're having this conversation now, because Brennan was the top, the quarterback. And to have this exposed, this would have been under his watch. So make him answer to that too, while the leaks to the media on how some of these things kept going forward. You make that direct connection, you can help the public understand better on how this was an entire, coup against the president.
And also here in this this briefing, they're essentially discussing the ethics of the clowns in America being directly involved with the media. And not only that, but they touch upon how someone from the Clowns in America operatives then became director of the Peace Corps during the Bush presidency or something like that. Let's see there, or maybe he's talking about how it wouldn't be good if somebody from the clowns became the director of the Peace Corps. I think the point that he's trying to make is that when someone from the clowns, an operative, then takes on a position in another industry or another arm of the government, that it runs the risk of completely subverting the original nature of that organization, because now they're going to be beholden to do the will of the clowns in America. And, what really shocked me about this is that it's not just the media. They're including the clergy. Okay, so that makes me have to ask, who else among our religious and spiritual leaders is working for the clowns in America? I mean, who are we supposed to trust? That is an absolutely just frightening proposition, to imagine that it's not just the media. I mean, the clergy are supposed to be our trusted advisors, our spiritual advisors, and to advise us in how to act and ways of morality, when instead they're actually just doing whatever the bidding of the clowns in America are. It's just a completely, just absolutely frightening proposition to me, because I wonder how many people. And how large is Operation Mockingbird? But from the side of it, from everything that we've seen over the last several years, I would say that they must control the whole thing. So how many churches are also controlled by the clowns?
Right. I mean, one of the best ways to get away with a lot of stuff is to be embedded in things that you're supposed to trust. And it also reminds me of the times that our favorite Anon has brought up, who are you taught to trust the most? So to have that kind of stuff be talked about it too. And also, I mean, things like confession, right? Confess the man. And then, that man, that priest or whatever will, help you find forgiveness through God. Well, you're literally confessing sins. Mm-hmm. You're giving information out there. That to me, that's got clown written all over it when it comes to the way that they would want to get information out of other people. I'm not calling everybody that's Catholic a clown, but you get my point. Like, it would make sense that they would have, a vested interest in being embedded in something of that nature. So the question is where does it go further? And we've actually been starting this dig on the side, me and some friends, on the histories of these people that are now. And I bring this up now because I think everybody in the audience would enjoy digging on these things. It's productive and it's a big thing. We're looking at all these people that are involved in the scandal stuff. And I mean, particularly, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all these people, and we're digging backwards on their history when it comes to, where do they go to college? What do they go to? Did they cross paths with anybody? And go that to understand, to see if we can see what me and you were talking about here, about how things get embedded. Well, were they brought up in these certain, was it particular schools? Like Comey went to school in Chicago. He was also a part of the Watergate Senate committee that was looking into all that, or Whitewater stuff and all that around the Clintons. Like he was involved in that committee, and then nothing really came out of it. So we've been going backwards on history to help explain how these people got there. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's looking to dig, look in these people's past when it comes to their education. Where do they travel to? Where do they live? Clapper went to high school in Germany.
Yes.
There's a lot of different things, and it helps paint a better picture so this can't develop again, because you start seeing the red flags on other people.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that, although an easy way to talk about it is through Catholicism, because you have confession, because I was raised Catholic, it's not just the Catholic Church. I mean, I would imagine it is every branch of every religion that we have on the face of this earth. Think about the Far East, okay? I'm not going to mention it by name. Haterproof mentioned the Church of Latter-day Saints. I've heard that speculated before. There's another religion which it was started by a man named L. Ron Hubbard. That has been accused, and I'm not going to say it out loud because I know that every time it happens, people get very upset. But I need to say thank you to Don Huevan. After you ask methods to reply, knock twice and do a vape hit to allow enough time to respond. You get my morning started right every day. Betty Whitford says, life would not be the same without RP and M3. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate it. Julie D says, Google just suspended the QMAP on Android. There was 2 different aggregator apps that were canceled today from what I heard. Haterproof said, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And Law Dog says, don't know if I heard it right, but this is for Method's computer. National house arrest won't be the same without you guys. Law Dog, just do me a favor, cancel that payment and just send it directly to Method's PayPal, because then there won't be, the 30% coming out for YouTube, and he'll get the full benefit of it, and it will mean that he'll get the ability to get the computer quicker. So just let me know. Just go ahead and do that and let me know. And then, so going past that, we've got the article from Fox, and it says, buckle up. And it is our confirmation that Ratcliffe himself has been confirmed as the director of national intelligence. I can't say enough good things about Ratcliffe. He's been deeply involved with the process to try to unmask all of this corruption since the very beginning. And I was really disappointed, Methods, when he was nominated the first time, and it seemed like Mitch McConnell and other Republicans were not in favor of him becoming the new DNI. He caught a lot of flack in the media. The mainstream media just went after him unmercifully, claimed that he had no intelligence experience, no law experience. But the man is a lawyer. Okay, he's worked with law enforcement. He's been a U.S. attorney. So I would hazard a guess and say that besides that, even with just his time in government, he has had to work with intelligence. He understands how this works, and that's why he is such a perfect candidate. It's not just the fact that he is part of the, he's not just that he's MAGA. It's not just that he supports President Trump. It's that he supports law and order. He supports a single, unified judicial system. He supports people paying for the crimes they've committed and for law and order returning to the United States. Methods, what do you think?
Oh, first of all, I entirely agree. And a lot of us who have been following everything going on that we can get our hands on when it comes to, hearings and stuff like that. I mean, go back, especially if you haven't or don't know much about it, because I have people asking me, who is this Ratcliffe guy? Mm-hmm. Go watch any of the highlights. YouTube's really good about having these highlights out of Ratcliffe, insert name here, hearing that has anything to do that's happened in the last few years. The impeachment hearing, when he's taking apart these witnesses that were obviously being propped up for the narrative of the impeachment that they were already going to vote for. Watch how Ratcliffe handles those things, and you'll see what me and Red Pill saw, and we get really excited about it, because Ratcliffe, and also in the confirmation hearing that he did with the Senate Intel Committee before the vote that they had today, they asked him up front. They said, "Can we trust in you when we request information for you to expedite and work as fast as you can and diligently as you can to bring out things regardless of politics or who it favors?" And he said, "Absolutely."
Mm-hmm.
So I have zero doubt in Ratcliffe. He's probably one of the people that would be top contender for who I trust the most off the rip about being nominated for anything.
Me too. Me too.
So yeah, I mean, that's how we feel about it. I'm not willing to die on his mountain if he ends up going sideways. But with that said, I think now I think he's going to be just as good as what Grinnell's been doing, if not better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Grinnell, he's served his purpose. He's done a great job while he was there. His whole modus operandi has been to go scorched earth and just get this information out there. I think that acting DNI Grinnell is a wonderful man. He's done incredible things. The restructuring of the intelligence community, the restructuring of the NSC, the paring down of the NSC. It's going to be a leaner, meaner organization that Ratcliffe is going to come into. And I would not be surprised if he ended up making some changes as well. But I hope that Ratcliffe remains the DNI for a very long time. And if he leaves that position, I hope that he goes somewhere else in the intelligence community, because it needs that continued level of honesty and integrity. Now, Lisa M. says, Infiltration by Dr. Taylor Marshall is a good read of the Freemasons and Catholic Church going back to the 1800s. Very interesting. I'll check it out. Navy Vet says, Mark Taylor speaks about the perversion of religion and the 501c3 tax exemptions. Yes, we have spoken about it on the channel a couple of times. I love Mark. Haterproof says, Mormon Temple in Mesa, Arizona. I'm not surprised. That whole region there is filled up. And Hey Jude says, received a Twitter DM from someone claiming to be Keanu. No blue check, no tweets, claimed it was prioritized account to thank fans, refused to verify his identity because I would share it, said I would have to apologize if he did. I wished him well and said goodbye. Troll. Yes, I don't think that was actually Keanu. This is not the first time that I've heard a story like this. Jude, I wonder if you've ever posted anything about Keanu Reeves before, or if you're just sharing stuff about red pilling and stuff like that. Because I met someone else a couple of years ago that I was working with that was all jazzed up because she had been receiving messages from someone claiming to be Leonardo DiCaprio. Also the same situation. It was supposed to be like a private, non-verified account. Just to thank fans. They had this person claiming they were Leo reached out, and she had shared a lot of stuff about Leo DiCaprio. And I really do believe that there are very awful, opportunistic people out there who are looking to take on a false identity on the internet so that they can then use it to manipulate kind and well-meaning people. So I would say almost 100% that is not Keanu Reeves. 100%. Keanu Reeves does not even run his own social media. And especially if they're coming to you with, there's no tweet history, there's none of that. I mean, Keanu does not have the time to sit around messaging random fans all day saying thank you for, helping me get where I am. I know it. I know it in my heart. Berserker Bear says, thanks, Red Pill and Methods and comment, fam. Thank you very much, Berserker Bear. Deplorable in Yoga Pants says, everyone says, I love you, but not in that way. How awkward would that be if someone said, and in that way? By the way, not I said the fly. This money is for the Red Pill Girlfriend Ring Fund. Don't worry. Thank you very much. I'll put it to good use. Daddy Crab says, y'all are doing a great job, RP and Methods. Thank you. Thank you very much to everybody. Now, moving on to the next post, after the intelligence doc, and we've got the buckle up, then we've got a post from my friend Truth Hammer, you guys. This is probably, in my mind, the most interesting and compelling post of the day. So it's been announced that some 40,000 healthcare workers in the UK are now going to be given HCQ on a daily basis as a prophylactic and as a treatment to make sure that they don't get the sickness. Now, he asks, what color is that pill? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the clip.
Are being trialed at hospitals in Brighton and Oxford to see whether they could be used to treat coronavirus.
Okay, so here you can see the pills coming out, and what color are they? They're red. Everybody is going to be forced to take the red pill, or they're going to be taking the red pill so that they don't get sick. How incredible is that, Methods?
I think it's awesome, and I hope the packaging for whatever vaccine or vax, is blue, just for the fun and the irony of the memes. But yeah, as far as just the whole idea of giving it to these frontline workers and stuff, we were talking about it off air. Like, that's how do you quote unquote, no pun intended, red pill the masses if you have 40,000 people who are working with people who have the kung flu and they are saved. They don't get sick or contracted, or they're able to prevent it because they're on it. So you have the 40,000 people plus the president. I mean, that's a pretty good public argument to make, because I do think that we're going to have more and more people start shooting videos for their own social media stuff and saying, hey, I've been on this for X amount of years and I'm fine. Or I'm a nurse and I've been taking it for this long during all this and I haven't gotten sick once. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to start getting a lot of those kind of videos coming out here in the near future. Yeah. Because they're going to keep arguing that you're going to die if you take it. And that's going to be proven differently by the public around the world. Right. Now, I've seen a couple people comment in the chat that the pills are actually white. Never forget, there's not just one single manufacturer of this. HCQ is a drug that has no patent for it. It's too old. So any pharmaceutical manufacturer can produce this pill. This red pill right here that is being given in the UK, this is just one manufacturer. Very possible you're getting it or you've seen it and it's only been white. But in this instance, it isn't. It's red. Now, let's see. Deplorable in Vegas, deplorable in yoga pants. Thank you. And Daddy Crab, thanks again. Hey Jude says, never tweeted about Keanu. I saw Trisha Q Patriot Texas also mentioned that Keanu, or somebody pretending to be Keanu, also messaged her and she told him to get lost. Chris Hawkins says, I definitely love Methods in that way, with a kiss and a bunch of laughing, crying faces. Law Dog says, I sent Methods separate. Use the other for the fur baby. Mine eats everything, to include my ankle monitor. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. That's awesome. And thank you for that, by the way. I just got the notification on my phone. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, brother. Mikado 16, what a week. Bro, I thought I could handle all the winning. I'm not sure anymore. So exciting. And then still the best is yet to come. Yes, you guys, it is still coming. It's still coming. Well, let me just finish these posts real quick and we can get to the show announcement. So it continues. Team Cavuto said it would kill you. Why are select journalists so invested in instilling fear regarding HCQ 40 years on the market? Is this about the health and well-being of people or something else? Is this about the virus or something else? And then the next post says, how do you convince people the vax, the shot is necessary? And this is critical. Now it goes into an article from CDC, from HHS. And it says, U.S. data on influenza deaths are false and misleading. The CDC acknowledges a difference between flu death and flu-associated death, yet uses the terms interchangeably. Additionally, there are significant statistical incompatibilities between official estimates and national vital statistics data. Compounding these problems is a marketing of fear CDC communication strategy in which medical experts predict dire outcomes during flu season. Apply that to CV19 data reports. Now, we already know about this. We've been hammering this home for months now. The actual people expiring, the actual number of people expiring is far lower than the numbers they're handing out. This is how they convince people that the shot is critical. They keep them afraid. They make them think that the likelihood of expiring from it is far greater than it actually is. And this is why we find ourselves today with so many people clamoring to get that shot. Methods? Right. And I mean, the whole argument's been, because I mean, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, the military is going to force us to get the shots or whatever. Trump's turning on us. And I personally don't believe it at all. He even said not everybody's going to want to take it. He wants the option out there for people that do, because he understands exactly what this post is talking about, is that there's been so much fear instilled in the public, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, about, you need this to keep yourself safe and not get sick or potentially, expire. So the fact that I'm really, really glad our favorite Anon pointed to this, because it has to do with exactly what we're talking about, the fear mongering around something to get people to then take something. And that's what we're living in right now.
Sorry, I was muted. The last post is an article from Breitbart, which talks about how the DOJ is calling out the Democrats for Pennsylvania election officials being paid to stuff the ballot box for Democrats. I think that this is going to point out the fact that we are not going to have to worry about November, because there is these people in the DOJ, they're paying attention to this stuff. I think we're going to be safe, guys.
Right. I mean, and that's all pretty straightforward. They're getting caught in this. It's going to get explained. There's going to be more of it.
Yeah. All right. And then Red Pills Warhawk said, donate up to $100, screenshot for verification, and I will deduct that amount from the final price. So there you go. That's the deal. Elizabeth Cole says, please be cautious about making religious generalizations. Yes, I am not making religious generalizations. All I'm simply stating is that people in every single religion, power structure, company, government, there is corruption all over. I don't want anyone to think that I believe that any one single religion has the monopoly on corruption. There are bad people everywhere, and there are good people everywhere. It's the same thing with law enforcement. Lots of good people. There are still plenty of bad people. And then Trump Be Cool says, RP vapes truth while methods frags the deep state. Make no mistake, we all provide support and are on the front lines in this war. Red pills for all. Don't worry about that. Don't worry, have the truth and love inside. Okay, don't worry, they only have the truth and love inside. Okay, sweet. All right, well,
before you go on, I just want to make sure, because some people are coming in saying that you are mute. Are you live right now? Can people hear you?
Yeah, I am live. Yeah.
Okay, I know some people are kind of behind on streams and stuff, so they're making the comment about that. So go ahead, bud.
Okay, well, I was just going to say we need to talk about the future of the show. So we're still working out the particulars, but tomorrow is going to be the last episode of Quarantime. The nation has started to open up, so I think that it's time that we start acting as if the nation is opened up. Let's start putting our focus and our prayers on the full opening up of the country, and we're going to be starting the new show next week. Methods, do you want to tell them some more details?
Right, and I mean, just on that point, this has been such a great, experience. I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you, Red Pill. You're one of my best friends. And everybody here in the chat just hanging out with us and doing all that. It's just been a lot of fun. But we knew naming this show Quarantime that it had an expiration date on it as it is now. And now a lot of people don't know this because we didn't talk to a whole lot of people about it. We had always wanted to do a show together more so than just Comfy Sunday. Mm-hmm. We had made plans actually to start doing something similar to this show starting this August. But then when everything, the shutdown happened and a lot of people were at home, we could see, the cabin fever setting in. We were like, why don't we go ahead and do something like that now and hang out with everybody? Mm-hmm. And it ended up, and we'll just see, if people enjoy it, if they're hanging out, if it doesn't like fizzle off and stuff. And they'll let us know that the August thing will be good. But then things kept being, we really started enjoying this stuff. So just, to tie a bow on that, we decided to just go ahead and implement a type of show that we would have started in August anyways. But like you said, tomorrow will be the last official show of Quarantime. Always have this time as a special spot in my heart, because during all these things going on, all this tragedy that we see, I got to hang out 5 days a week with everybody.
Absolutely.
So I love it. So what we're going to do is that starting next week, we've decided that we are going to do a daily show every Tuesday and every Thursday of the week. Give Red Pill some time to breathe, because you know how hard he's working. And shout out to you, man. because you've been streaming every day with your weekend shows, Comfy Sunday and Quarantime, 7 days a week for 2 months straight, minus a day or two off.
Yeah.
So, hat tip to you for that.
Thanks,
but
bro.
we wanted to create an opportunity, for him to have time, make sure his content stays how great it is, why people come here for his night stuff and all that. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do a show. And we also hear you on how the show feels like the hour just flies by and we're having to rush through stuff. So we've decided to start, instead of starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going to start at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to do an hour and a half show and hang out with everybody. And it will be a slightly different format. We'll explain more of that tomorrow because we're already at the end of our show now. But it's going to be a slightly different format. We're excited about it. And we're going to be able to hang out with you guys 2 times a week. So it's permanent because now we're doing 3 shows a week together. That's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. And I just want to thank everybody for spending this time with us and being that dedicated. So we really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to what the future holds. I am also looking forward to having a little bit of breathing room. Don't get me wrong. I love being here with you guys, but now that the country is opening up, I got a bunch of stuff I got to do this summer. So we're going to be looking forward to this new show starting next week, guys. I'm going to start taking Mondays off. I'm just not going to do a show on Mondays. That's going to allow me the time that I need to, take care of the house, take care of the dogs, get my hair cut. That's what I'm doing on Monday. Hopefully that is going to be something that can happen in my state. I do think it will. Let me just say, Ross Hernandez says, May is almost over. Is there any news on the Pope? At the beginning of the show, somebody said something about the Pope, but I couldn't find anything about it, so we'll continue to look. White Hat says, election shiz was monitored in 18. We should be good. That's right. We were talking about it back then. EO2 Dave says, hanging out with RP and M3, and Daddy Crab says, this show is epic. Perfect. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you can, and you haven't yet, hit that like button on your way out the door. Methods, love you, brother. I've had such a great time doing this, and I'm really, really excited about what we're going to be doing in the future.
Yep, same here, man. Much love, no Cuomo. Really appreciate that we've been doing this, man, and I look forward to what we're going to be doing in the future and hanging out with everybody. So, yeah, everybody have a great day. Relax, have a good time, and we'll catch you on the next one tomorrow, the final one. Make sure you guys catch it.
Yep, and be here at 6 for Red Pill News. Also, Chris Hawkins says you both definitely deserve a thank you for your dedication. I bought Methods a drink first. That's important. Peachy Keen says much love and thank you, RP and M3. And K Griff says thank you, RP. All right, guys, love you all. Good luck and God bless. We'll see you back at 6.